the Roots of the Science podcast with your girl, Anne with an E.
So it all, the Root of the Science podcast with your girl, Anne with an E. If you are new here, welcome. It's always such a pleasure to have new listeners to the show. If you're returning, thank you so much. We are back once again. A reminder that you can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, or wherever else you listen to your podcast. And remember to click the subscribe button so that you are notified when a new podcast comes on. This includes on YouTube. And remember that you can follow this podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Root of the Sci Pod, or on Facebook and LinkedIn, as well as YouTube at The Root of the Science podcast. As women, it is important for us to embrace and take pride in our breasts. However, there are instances where it can become a source of immense pain and shame. Today, we're speaking with Ruth Makena Mugaa, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and the founder of the Gigantomastia Foundation. Gigantomastia is a rare medical condition characterized by excessive breast growth, which can cause physical discomfort, emotional distress, and significant challenges in your daily life. Ruth's personal experience with this condition led her to establish the Gigantomastia Foundation, a platform aimed at raising awareness, providing support, and advocating for individuals affected by this condition. In this discussion, she will share her extraordinary and really inspiring journey of healing from this condition, as well as shed light on how she actively works towards helping others find healing. Tune in to all of this and, of course, so much more. Let's go. Good morning, Ruth. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be your host today.
A pleasure. Before we get things started, we've introduced you that you are an advocate at the High Court in Kenya and also the founder of this foundation. So I think to just set the scene straight, I'd really like to know why an advocate of the Court of Kenya would establish a Gigantomastia, did I pronounce it correctly? Foundation.
Gigantomastia Foundation.
Yes. So how did that come about?
Well, I was diagnosed with gigantomastia 12 years ago at the tender age of 25 years. So I never knew I had gigantomastia up until I met an orthopedic surgeon and I had recurrent shoulder dislocations. So when my orthopedic surgeon was fixing my shoulder on the table is when he realized that I have excessive breast growth tissue. So that is when he referred me to a plastic surgeon here in Kenya. And when I went and saw the plastic surgeon, he clearly diagnosed me with gigantomastia. So I went ahead 12 years ago and I had a reconstructive surgery, which is a breast reduction surgery, a reduction mammoplasty. So I went on with my life as usual. And had I not known that I had gigantomastia, I didn't know up until when my shoulder fixed. That is when I sat back and asked myself a very fundamental question. I had an aha moment. Like, how many more women are suffering from gigantomastia and don't know what to do? And they don't know that they're suffering with gigantomastia. And that is when I partnered with one of the surgeons who worked on my breast reduction. And I told him, I think we should take this awareness of gigantomastia a notch higher. That is when I established the Gigantomastia Foundation.
Amazing. You've spoken that you didn't know until, you went to your orthopedic surgeon. So help us understand then, how does this condition actually affect a person's normal day-to-day life? And, how did it get to that part where you were like, okay, I need to go and see an orthopedic surgeon?
Previously, as I earlier said, my shoulder used to dislocate a lot. So I had my first surgery done on my shoulder in the year 2002. Then in 2012, my shoulder dislocated again. And I could really not pinpoint what is the cause of my shoulder dislocating. So when I went to see the orthopedic and when he was performing my second surgery on my shoulder, is when I think he realized on the table that what is pulling my shoulder is the breast weight, that I had very big breasts. So ideally, gigantomastia really limited me into doing very many things. Like I would have, my most fundamental symptom here was my dislocating shoulder. Secondly, back pains. I had very bad back pains, shoulder pains, neck pains. I'm not to mention getting bras that could fit my bust size was quite an issue. So I don't know if I've answered your question holistically, but it is the breast weight that limited me to do activities like a 25-year-old girl would. Like even dressing up like my peers was very hard. Even getting clothes size that could fit me was very hard. So I could be identified in a tier of even a 40-year-old woman, you understand? So it also, I could say, like for me, probably because I have a bubbly personality, I have a strong personality, I did not let it take me down personality-wise or dim my self-esteem. But from the 10 years I've been doing this gigantomastia, I have seen that it has robbed of so many women of their self-esteem, leave alone 13-year-old girls who have also come on board and have had this surgery to the tunes of 10 kilograms being exercised from their chests.
Wow. That's something that, one doesn't fully understand unless you've experienced this. And I think many women, they don't even know probably that this is a symptom. There's a name for this symptom that they have, because I think there's just an assumption that, oh no, you just have big breasts, So it's really amazing that you are putting on this awareness, and you can really hear how it really affected your day-to-day life. So let's talk about how you got started. You said that you got together with the surgeon who helped you. So what were some of the challenges, if any, in starting this foundation in the early stages?
I would say that the challenges that I went through first is the mere fact that my insurance company declined to pay for the surgery, terming it as cosmetic surgery. So I'm sure in South Africa you call it medical aid. So that was my first challenge, but I would say thank God that my parents were able to come up with the amount that was needed, and I had my surgery done. Secondly, one of the major challenges that I also had is to try and streamline the stereotypes that come with gigantomastia. Because there are some people who don't understand. Why would you tell me I'm sick because I have big breasts? There was a lot of rejection that came with it, but it came with time, though, with the awareness, with me making so much noise about it. So many people have warmed up to the idea that gigantomastia, actually, it is an issue. There's nothing normal as to having very big breasts that are actually debilitating your health, like you're having backaches, neck pains, shoulder pains, and even others have gotten to a point where they would think they were bewitched. So that is one of the stereotypes, that the rejection that probably I got, especially from the people who are not very learned. How would I want to phrase it? Like the people who are from very humble backgrounds, who don't understand why somebody would go into surgery to have their breasts reduced. You understand? And linking like a condition, a medical condition, with witchcraft. You understand? Also, there's the part of funding it. Funding the organization, like getting funds, because this surgery does not come cheap. That was also one of the major challenges. But with time, a step at a time, I got to make a lot of noise. I got to bring so many people on board. I got to involve so many county governments in the country to be able even to give us operating spaces in the public hospitals, and we took another step. The traction I wanted, it started getting the attention that I was really looking out to get.
No, amazing. So
yes,
you can, I think, touching on that stereotype, touching on the cultural aspects of, like, women are being bewitched. So how did you said that the medical aid was an issue and to get the funding. So how were the funds raised? Was it after you making the noise about what you want to do? Eventually your medical aid accepted, or how did that happen?
My medical aid did not accept to pay for my surgery. As I said earlier, my parents had to pay off pocket. So it is a push and shove that I'm also trying to have with the medical aids in my country to try and really understand that a woman getting a breast reduction has nothing to do with cosmetic. It is indeed a medical condition that needs to be given the attention that it deserves.
So how far are you now, given that you've got your own foundation? Where are things, as it stands, when you are advocating for the women in your foundation to get this type of surgery, or rather the people?
So actually it's been 10 years of me doing this, and every day we have cases whereby we have well-wishers who come in and even pay for patients. The patients who even can get a certain amount of money to have the surgery done, if not full.
Wow.
So we try and accommodate these patients to come in and have the surgery done. And then, as I said earlier, even the minors from ages 13 to even 15, they do suffer from gigantomastia. So at this juncture, I take it upon myself to even go to the county governments and ask them to assist these young girls, leave alone from having the surgery done, and even extending a helping hand to these girls going to school. Because you can imagine a 13-year-old has dropped out of school because of this very big breast.
Wow, sure. No.
So the stigmatization that this girl has gone through. So we also try to make sure that after surgery, where are we leaving the girl child at? Are we just having surgery and letting the girl just go back into the village? No, we want to follow up. Like, if this girl has finished school, we ensure that they go to secondary and also try and incorporate them to go into university. So the Gigantomastia Foundation does not only solely lean on the surgery, but also an empowering the girl child to continue living a normal life like they should.
So it's like a holistic approach from the beginning and all the way through.
Yes, you have hit the nail on the head. It is a holistic approach. And also, I think that let's not entirely look at gigantomastia from an aspect of the women. Also, men suffer from gynecomastia. Men suffer from male breasts. So you can imagine, if a woman is feeling this way, how does a man who is developing breast feel? So we also have a tier of men who we handle, who we come in and we have the surgeries done.
Wow, that's true. I was going to ask if there was, or this was only a woman condition, but you're absolutely right that the amount of stigma and shame that the men who have this condition might also have. And I think that's where it also goes into take it as a holistic approach, that even after the surgery, what happens to them. So since you said that, do you work with other practitioners? You are a lawyer, right? And then you have the medical people.
Yes.
So in your foundation, does it involve various different types of professions to achieve this holistic approach?
In my foundation, I would say I only partnered with a plastic surgeon, because plastic surgeons are the surgeons who are best known to do this breast reduction and reconstruct the breast to achieve the best results. So I have partnered with a plastic surgeon who we come and we do the surgeries for the patients. And after that, we try and also walk the journey with the patients who have come in to have the surgery done, from the inception of the surgery to the 4 weeks that they undergo the aftercare before you're given a clean bill of health. So ideally, gigantomastia, I, as Ruth Makena, have partnered with a plastic surgeon.
And you said you've been doing this for 10 years. So to date, how many women and men have you helped so far?
For 10 years, it is safe to say that I have helped close to 350 patients.
Wow. Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So are there any pressing challenges that the foundation is maybe experiencing?
I would go back to the issue of funding. This is something we are looking at every other day.
And how does somebody, if they, like you said, that some people do assist with funding some of the patients, how can individuals partner with the organization to support the foundation?
We mainly have slots from we have a on Facebook, Instagram, and on on Twitter. So you can just come in and drop us an email, then we can take it up from there. So that, you cannot limit somebody as to how they want to partner. You could have a conversation with somebody on a one-on-one, and we can be able to describe to them. Like, we have cases where we probably could have a patient who is in dire need, and you can come. We can go out and say that there's this patient who is in need, and if you, like Anne, you would want to come all out to assist this patient, we can engage you on a one-on-one and see how you can assist the patient and up to what level. You understand?
No, this is fantastic work. We will definitely put up your the information for people who would love to partner up with you. So this is specifically based in Kenya, correct?
Yes, this is specifically based in Kenya, but over the past 2 years, I've also been having patients coming in internationally from the UK, from our neighboring countries, Tanzania, Uganda, Malawi. We are having, and needless to say that, you're from South Africa. I'm getting an influx of so many women in your country looking out to have this surgery done. So my clarion call to you is that if we could also partner from the Kenya to the South African team, if we could even have a day whereby we could partner and have these surgeries done for most of these ladies in your country to be assisted. Because I can say I have so many, like as recent as today in the morning, I had 3 ladies from, are you in South Africa? I'm from South Africa. It is my clarion call that if you could also incorporate that this gigantomastia, you could make so much noise about it, even in your region, for people to know that there's help at a certain place that they could go and get the surgery done.
No, for sure.
Yes.
For sure. And I think more awareness is needed because, like I said, I did not even understand until after we read up about you, about this condition. So with that being said, what is the vision that you have for the foundation? I know you've already started taking international clients, etc., but where do you see this going? But because you've already stated that there are people here in South Africa who are willing and looking for a place to get help. But if you had all the capacity, no limitations, where do you see this foundation going?
God willing, I see me building my own hospital, and a very prestigious state-of-the-art hospital. I dream, there's this writer who once said, dream big until your dreams shake you. So I think my dream is just about to shake me. I want to build a very big hospital whereby we can accommodate gigantomastia patients and have the surgeries done day in, day out.
That is such a wonderful dream. And like you said, God willing, from your lips to God's ears, I'm sure it will happen. And honestly, you're doing such amazing work, Ruth. And I love how you did not stay in your box, because you could have just been a lawyer and going on, but clearly something was put into you, and your trial really became a platform for you to help so many people. And I am so excited to see what more you are going to do, because I believe that, all of these things, like you said, the dream is very much attainable.
Yes, the dream is very much attainable. And as they say, the sky is not the limit when there are footprints on the moon. So I'm being very optimistic, and I want to be very steadfast in continuing to blow up this noise, in continuing to spread the word of gigantomastia. And I'm very grateful that, and thankful that the word has spread ideally out of Kenya into East Africa. Very grateful that, and thankful that the word has spread ideally out of Kenya into East Africa.